The night air over Seoul shimmered with neon light as the city pulsed with Friday night energy. Crowds swelled outside the luxury boutique district of Cheongdam-dong, where an exclusive private event had just ended. Inside, celebrities laughed over champagne, but outside, a different kind of electricity buzzed through the streets, an unmistakable ripple in the atmosphere that only meant one thing. A BTS member had arrived. It happened in an instant. The heavy black SUV rolled to the curb, and the security detail stepped out first. Their eyes scanned the crowd of waiting fans and paparazzi who had been tipped off hours earlier. Every camera was raised. Every phone was recording. And then he emerged, Jungkook, dressed in a loose black shirt, ripped jeans, and a silver chain glinting under the streetlights. Jungkook stepped out with a casual confidence that immediately sent ARMY into a frenzy. His hair fell effortlessly into place, framing that familiar, almost unfairly perfect face. But it wasn't his outfit, his smile, or even his charismatic walk that sent shockwaves through the crowd. It was his left forearm. Peeking out from under his rolled-up sleeve was a brand-new tattoo, bold, dark, and impossible to miss under the flashes of camera lights. Unlike his previous ink, which had been spotted only briefly in performances or hidden beneath clothes, this one was different. It was deliberately visible. One fan scream pierced the air. "He has a new tattoo." The words spread like wildfire through the crowd. In seconds, the sound of camera shutters doubled. Every angle was captured, paparazzi pushing forward, fans holding up light sticks and screaming his name. Jungkook, for his part, didn't hide it. In fact, he did something no one expected. He paused. His eyes scanned the crowd. A tiny smirk played at the corner of his lips, and then he lifted his arms slightly, letting the design catch the full glow of the street lamp. He was showing it. Intentionally. Within minutes, Twitter, no, the entire internet exploded. Hashtags like Jungkook tattoo and golden magne ink climbed the trends list with alarming speed. ARMY accounts flooded timelines with zoomed-in photos, filters applied to enhance the lines, theories attached to every curve of the design. Oh, it's so beautiful? The detail. Does anyone else see the meaning behind it, or am I going crazy? He's so bold for this, I'm crying. By the time Jungkook disappeared inside the car again, the streets were still ringing with his name. The image of him, standing under the streetlight, new tattoo glistening under the Seoul night, was burned into the minds of everyone there, and no one knew what it meant yet. But one thing was certain. Jungkook had just started something. By sunrise, the internet was a battlefield of theories. Every ARMY, every fan account, every tattoo enthusiast had an opinion, and each one was louder than the last. On Twitter, threads with screenshots of Jungkook's arm from different angles started piling up. Some photos were grainy, taken from shaky hands in the crowd, while others, courtesy of professional paparazzi, were high definition, almost too close, every line of ink crystal clear. The tattoo was unlike anything fans had seen on him before. It was larger, more intricate, a mix of sharp lines and delicate curves. Some swore it looked like wings. Others saw a flame, a rose, or even the faint outline of initials. One popular ARMY account posted, "I've been a tattoo artist for 7 years. Jungkook's new ink is not random, it's intentional. Look closely at the negative space between the lines, it forms a shape, almost like a letter T." Within seconds, the post had over 50,000 retweets. Theories started forming. Was it for taehyung? Was it a secret tribute to someone from his past? Or was it simply a design he liked? On Instagram, fan edits flooded timelines. Some ARMYs overlaid the tattoo onto soft, pastel backgrounds with quotes from Jungkook's past interviews. Others made fiery, edgy edits with captions like, "The golden magne has grown, and he's not hiding it anymore." But the conversation wasn't just about the tattoo's beauty, it was about its symbolism. In South Korea, tattoos on idols were still a controversial topic. Though Jungkook had shown his tattoos before, they were usually partially hidden, blurred on broadcasts, or covered during promotions. This time felt different. This time, it was like he wanted the whole world to see it. In a private fan group chat, a user wrote, "It's a message. He's telling us he's not afraid anymore." Another replied instantly. But what if it means something deeper? Something personal? He's been through so much lately, maybe it's his way of processing it. While debates raged online, behind closed doors, the tattoo had already sparked discussion within HYB's headquarters. Some executives were concerned about the impact on Jungkook's brand image, especially with upcoming international collaborations. Others argued that his boldness only made him more relatable and authentic to fans. Meanwhile, in the quiet comfort of his apartment, Jungkook sat by the window, sipping iced Americano as the sun streamed in. His phone was buzzing nonstop, notifications from friends, colleagues, even his tattoo artist. But he ignored most of them, scrolling instead through the ocean of fan reactions. A small smile tugged at his lips. They didn't know the whole story yet, and maybe, just maybe, that was the point. The soundproof walls of HYB's recording studio hummed with faint bass from a track playing next door. Inside Studio B, the air was thick with the scent of coffee, leather chairs, and faint cologne, a familiar comfort for Jungkook. He sat on the couch, hoodie up, knees pulled close, a sketchbook resting on his lap. On the table in front of him lay 3 sheets of paper, each containing a different tattoo design. They weren't random. Each one had been meticulously drawn, adjusted, and redrawn over weeks. The lines told a story. His story. Namjoon sat across from him, sipping an espresso, watching the magne with the quiet, knowing gaze of someone who had seen him grow from a wide-eyed trainee into a global icon. Namjoon. So, this is it? The one you want? Jungkook, glancing down at the paper. Yeah, I think so. It's me. You know. Namjoon. I know. He pauses. But you also know what it means when you show it publicly. Jungkook nodded slowly. He knew exactly what it meant. Articles dissecting the design, interviews where reporters would pry, the inevitable conservative backlash. But something in him had shifted over the past year. The boy who once played it safe had grown into a man who wanted to live honestly, without hiding pieces of himself. The door opened and Taehyung slipped inside, a box of pastries in hand. His hair was messy, like he'd just rolled out of bed, but his sharp eyes instantly landed on the papers. Taehyung. Is this the final version? He sits beside Jungkook. Jungkook. Yeah. What do you think? Taehyung. Studying the design. It's bold. And it's going to drive ARMY insane. He smirks. Jungkook. Good. He smiles faintly. It's supposed to. They laughed, but beneath the humor, there was an unspoken layer of understanding. Taehyung knew Jungkook had been wrestling with this decision for months. The tattoo wasn't just body art. It was closure, rebellion, and self-expression all in 1.2 days later. Jungkook walked into an unmarked studio downtown, where his trusted tattoo artist was waiting. The buzz of the needle filled the small room, a sound Jungkook found oddly soothing. Hours passed in quiet conversation about music, about life, about the meaning behind the ink. When the artist finally wiped away the last trace of ink and blood, Jungkook looked at his forearm in the mirror. The design was perfect, and for the first time in months, he felt lighter. By the 3rd day after Jungkook's tattoo reveal, the internet was no longer just excited. It was split clean down the middle. On one side, thousands of fans praised his courage and individuality. On the other, a growing group expressed concern, confusion, or outright disapproval. The comment sections were like 2 separate worlds colliding in real time. Under one viral tweet showing a close-up of the tattoo, a fan wrote, "This is the Jungkook I stan. Fearless, authentic, living his truth." Right below it, another replied, "I love him, but I wish he'd keep a clean image. This makes me uncomfortable." The debates spilled into every platform: Twitter threads, TikTok reaction videos, YouTube live stream discussions. Armies were quoting old interviews where Jungkook had talked about tattoos, dissecting every word for hints. On a popular Korean forum, one post titled, "Should Jungkook cover his tattoos for broadcasts?" exploded overnight. Some commenters defended his freedom of expression, pointing out that BTS had always preached self-love and individuality. Others argued that, as a role model to younger fans, he should be more careful with how he presents himself. Meanwhile, international fans rallied behind him, trending hashtags like Jungkook Freedom and Our Golden Magne. Edits of him confidently showing the tattoo at the Cheongdam-dong event were paired with bold captions. Not your idol, not your rules. Behind the scenes, HYB's PR team was working overtime. They'd received calls from several broadcasting networks asking whether Jungkook would be covering his tattoo during upcoming promotions. The company, wary of igniting more controversy, hadn't yet given an official answer, but what most fans didn't know was that Jungkook had already made up his mind. He'd been reading their words, every praise, every criticism, every worried message. And though some comments stung, they only made his resolve stronger. In a late-night group chat with the members, Jungkook typed, "Jungkook, I'm not covering it. Not for anyone. Yoongi, good. It's yours, not theirs. Jimin, we've got your back. Always." Outside in the fan world, the divide was only getting deeper. And as ARMY fought amongst themselves, the story was about to take a new turn, one Jungkook himself would trigger.